Hi, welcome to Tea Time Tuesday with your host Sean Catfish Wilson and your star Cosmo the Bird. What's up? So, what's up, Freedom Frog? How you doing, brother? Long time no see. Glad to see you come and join my live tea time. Today's tea is going to be Earl of the Grey or Earl Grey tea. All right, other phone work. Trying to wait for my other phone to work so I can see the chats better. Oh, that I need to go grab a couple things. It ain't too far away. It's been a long while. It's been a long while. Sounds good, man. Freedom Frog says hi, Cosmo. Alright, let's see if it wants to work this time. Loading, 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 buffering, buffering. I would like to reply to the chats. So, while I'm waiting for this, have a sip of Earl Grey. Oh. Might help if I turn the service back on this phone. Alright. Cool beans. I found my live chat. Alright. So have you been making any videos lately, Frog? This one will have to work. Grab a shirt. Alright, so what we have here, this is a 400 grit Chaucera stone. And I've been away for a bit, just wanted to say hi and say hi to you and see what's up. Happy to catch a tea time. Yeah, I'm happy to have you here. That's pretty awesome. It's a little early today than normal, but it's all good. Alright, so, and this here is my Benchmade mountain or Canyon Mountain Skinner. Or mountain something, I can't remember, something like that. S30V. Well, at least the chats are still popping up, even though the oh. Well, hi Cosmo. I didn't see you right there. Even though the rest of it's not wanting to pop up. So this is a 400 grit Chaucera stone. That white one is a 1000 grit Chihiro Kyrex. Great stones. Yeah, I've got like few other stones too. But so this knife needs sharpened. Alright. Grab this a little closer that way. Don't drip as much water on the ground. Can you see this good? Since my phone's wanting to be not very smart. Yeah, it keeps wanting to buffer for some reason, and I don't understand. But so this knife needs sharpening, so I'm gonna do a live sharpening for my tea time. I hope you can see it good. So what I like to do is I like to take the knife, put it on the stone, kind of find where that choil is, and then I'll go up to the angle. And then I'll switch sides. Most people I see will do it on one side for a while. I always switch sides. So lay it flat, find that angle. So I use this for a bait knife, and I cut through bone from crappie to shad, green sunfish, bluegill, different sunfish species. I haven't kept a fish and cleaned the fish with it yet, but I have cleaned the fish with my Leatherneck SF, and that works pretty good for not being a fillet knife, anyways. Alright. Perfect tool for the job. My cousin uses that same knife for fishing. Awesome. That's pretty cool. I gave it to him for his birthday. Awesome. Yeah, these are, I like these Benchmade knives. I like the Canyon Mountain Hunter better though. I think they did a little bit better job on the smaller one on the heat treat. This one I've had this already. This is the first time I've sharpened it. And Benchmade, of course, they come really nice and sharp out of the box. So I'll explain the strokes to you real quick like so. Dang, I already got the nicks out of it. So this here, I'm pretty sure you already know this frog, but other people may not. So this is a cutting stroke. Then when you come back with it, this is a stropping stroke. And then since the blade's coming towards me now, cutting stroke, dropping stroke. And these Choceras are really, really nice stones. And it doesn't take a lot for them to start cutting in the new edge or whatnot. And what I really like about these Benchmades is that they've got a really, really nice sharpening choil to so you're not taking the stone right up against the handle, which can ruin your stones. I forgot which way I was going. Alright. Take another drink of Earl Grey tea. And I drink my tea neat or plain, nothing in it, just tea. No sugar, no honey, no milk. Milk. And if you don't know where I get milk from, watch Ernest Scared Stupid. Aw, Cosmo, I love you. I love you. Hello. Now, Benchmade does have a life sharpening guarantee or warranty on their knives. Or not warranty, but if your Benchmade knife gets dull, you can send it in and they'll sharpen it for free. Alright. Oops. But for me, the knife ain't truly yours until you sharpen it. That's my opinion, anyways. So basically, when you're sharpening a knife, what you're doing is you're putting scratch patterns in that kind of go up and down, kind of like a saw tooth. Or I should say teeth on the saw blade. Yeah, that's awesome. I know Microtech and Spyderco will also sharpen your knife. I'm pretty sure Cold Steel will too, but it's nice to do it yourself. Yeah. Oh, what's up, Jeff and Tammy? Thank you for coming in. How you doing? Benchmade gets dull. Said no one ever. and any steel will get dull. Any type of knife that has steel will get dull. Even your ceramic blades will eventually dull out. And so, and another thing is those pull-through knife sharpeners. What they do is instead of making the teeth go like that, they will make the teeth go like that. And what that will do is it'll cause your edge of your knife to become brittle and it'll start chipping really bad. So you always want to try it if you know how to use a pull through sharp or not use a stone or a work sharp will do the same thing. It will go um, make the teeth vertical. But the pull through ones, they'll make the teeth horizontal, and that just makes that edge really brittle. And what's really nice about the Tricera stones is they cut really fast. And also when you're sharpening, you want to listen to the sounds it's making. Maybe every once in a while. Grab cloth, wipe off your edge. Um, yeah. Yeah, that's already getting hair popping sharp. Yeah. Not that I got much more hair on my arm because I sharpen knives, and that's another way is the best way. Another way is kind of take it on your thumbnail, and you can feel the teeth cutting in. And basically, what you're trying to do is you're just trying to apex that edge on the knife. Once the edge is apexed, then you've got a sharp knife. It doesn't matter whether you're using 400 grit, 120 grit, which is more coarse, or like that one, 1,000 grit. Now, me personally, most of my knives I like to take to 1,000 grit. and you don't really need a lot of pressure, especially if you're not reprofiling the edge, and that's you only need to reprofile if the knife is super dull. You know your stuff. Thank you, buddy. I wore the budget Stephen Gurr gave me. To a new, but it's still a decent box opener. I never wanted a bug out. Oh, bug out. Never wanted it to bug out, but now I like it. Definitely prefer the Hogue Deca, but the bug out is pretty good. Yeah, I haven't had a bug out yet. Every time I end up buying like one of their assisted opening knives. But as far as when it comes to Benchmade, I do think that their fixed blades are definitely better than their pocket knives, their folders. I think most generally they do a better heat treat and a better job on their fixed blades. At least a few that I've had fixed blades compared to folders. And I have sharpened a knife for one of my coworkers. He likes to have me sharpen his knives for him. He has like a little traditional Winchester. I got that thing so sharp you could put it across your like skin like that and pull. I lifted it up, of course, because I didn't want to cut myself, and it would lift a scratch, and then it started bleeding. So very little pressure to actually cut yourself. You agree? Awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of people agree that the fixed blades are better. At least with the newer Benchmades. The older Benchmades, they were all pretty good from what I heard. got most of the factory scratches out of it from the original sharpening, which is pretty cool. So I don't think it's necessary to get all the factory scratches out when you sharpen your knife for the first time. The important thing is, as long as you get a nice apex on your edge, as long as you apex the edge, then you're good to go. And this one, I do believe I'm finished with the 400 grit. I mean, running the stone over the knife. Yeah. All right. So now I'm gonna switch to this 1000 grit stone. Put my knife up there. So what do you all think? Do you think it's important to get the original factory scratches out of the edge, or just important to have it apex to where you got a good apex on it? So what I like about the Kyrex is that it has this little rubber thing so you can stick it on something. I normally always hand sharpen, but most of the videos that I watch, they suggest that you put it on like a bench or something because they're technically a bench sharpener, and kind of run it over that way to first get you steadied. But I started with like those little itty bitty pocket stones sharpening knives in my hand since I was like a bit over the stone. I really don't care much about being pretty anymore. I used to be crazy about scratches. Yeah, I'm gonna use it, so I'm not too worried about. I just want to make sure that it's sharp again. I haven't seen anyone sharpen knives that way, Jeff. But that's actually, I think I got two Jeffs in here. That's kind of cool. But yeah, that's an interesting way to I've never done it that way. I ought to try it sometime. I've done it this way my entire life, so this is what I'm used to. And I've always gotten my knives hair popping sharp. And like Gypsy Vanilla Gorilla said, yep, two Jeffs. All right, hey, I remembered. I remembered right. But like Jeff from the Gypsy and the Vanilla said, Gorilla. says there's multiple techniques to sharpen knives. This is the technique I use. Maybe you use something different. Mike from Crazy Sharp does it a slightly different way than I do. I see a lot of people, they'll actually, if you're not good at sharpening, and if you can afford it, get one of those ones that have the preset angles. Worksharp makes them. Then there's some other brands that make them, but they have ones where you can like get the angle and you can just set your knife in, and then you can run the stone up and down, kind of like Jeff is saying, over the knife instead of the knife over the stone. Belt sander, yeah. Uh, an angle guide. An angle guide. I mean, not like a pointer. Yeah, definitely not a pointer. Ones that have the angle guides. Yeah, the poultry ones are definitely really bad for your knife. And this stone was actually my dad's stone that I gave to my dad like a few years before he passed away. And then he also had another 400 grit. It was actually the same brand, but I gave it to one of my cousins because I've already got the 400 grit for Sarah, so I didn't need it. So I passed it on to somebody else in the family. My cousin David, actually. And if you don't have steady enough hands to sharpen, because you want pretty steady hands, I suggest, like, if it's a Benchmade or one of the companies like Spyderco, Freedom Frog mentioned, that you can send back into the company and they'll resharpen it. I would suggest that, or send it to have somebody you know that knows how to sharpen using it, or send it to somebody that does, excuse me, professional sharpening. That's great you have it. I have my dad's Swiss Army knife, and it's a nice thing like that. Cool. Yeah, I even have my dad's flag also. The big flag, not the small flags. The knife slips and falls and lands on my foot. Ah, my leg! A little bit more water. All right. What's up, Big E, the Knife Nut? Thank you for stopping by, buddy. How you doing? Long time no see. So this is the a little dirty, but because I use it for fishing too. But that's a smaller brother than that one. I actually like this one more. This is my custom knife that Aiden gave me. Which I need to run this one over the stone too. And then this belonged to my great uncle or something like that, and he fought in the Second Great War, and he was KIA in the Pacific Theater. So this knife's been to the Pacific Theater and in battle. So this knife's actually been in combat, which is pretty cool. So an authentic World War II fighting knife. That's pretty incredible. What's up, Jonathan? How you doing, buddy? All right. Okay. And I'm taking, wipe the slurry off so that Alright, this knife has a good edge on it now. Now we're going to test it. Yep. I'm not going to try and cut that hair. That's not a good angle for me to try and cut. Let's see. So before I cut anything, I'm going to have to go get a different tool. Come on, what are you doing? Alright, this is a leather strop with wood. So the wood, I've got some 1500 grit stone polishing stuff on it. So, and since it's flat, it'll work. So you take this, and with this, you only want to make stropping passes, stropping cuts. And absolutely no pressure when you're doing this. The weight of the knife only. Now I'm going to take it to the leather side, the strop side. Some people use compound, some people don't. It's depending on you who you ask will be whether is it necessary to put a compound on this or not. I don't think so. I've never used a compound and I've always gotten good results with my sharpening. So basically what you're wanting to do with this is you're just wanting to make sure that there's no burr. But I also think the way I sharpen my knives, I don't get as much burr on my knives as like if you go 10, 5, blah, blah, 10, 5, or 10, 5, 5, or however you want to do it. So you lay it on there. You find your angle. And you just go bloop. Go to the other side, lay it on there, find the angle. Lay it on there, find the angle. Find the angle. So what I am doing here is I'm looking to see like if there's any glint of light where the apex of the knife should be. All right. That almost cut me right there just tapping it. So yeah, this knife is definitely sharp. It's sharper than when it came out of the box also, and that's the beauty about sharpening your own knives, as you can get them sharper than a factory edge 9 times out of 10. More often than not, I should say, you can get it sharper than when it comes factory. So what do I think about this knife though? I like it. I love how it has these thumb grips right here where you can place your thumb and then you can do a pinch grip like that. And this belly is definitely good for like right in here. I used a lot. That's where I will cut through the bone, the spinal cord of the crappie. I think I cut underneath the skin that time. All right. That's pretty incredible. My grandfather brought back a German Luger. I have that now. The knife from my uncle is a treasure. Well done, my friend. Awesome. Well, thank you. So, yeah, and I'm also getting like a really nice glint right along the apex on both sides, so that tells me that it's apexed really well also. Alrighty. Oh, and my coworker, he custom made this sheath for me also, so that's pretty cool. Because I prefer to carry my knives on the side with a sheath. Even if it's a neck knife sized, I would still prefer to have a belt sheath. I mean, some people might argue okay. So some people might argue that this should be a neck knife, which I guess if you like if you like neck knives, and this is a Case Mini Fin, and it's pretty, but I'll still carry it, but it's night and day between the Benchmade and the Case on the how often you need to sharpen it. I've had this knife for a minute now, like about 3 years, and I've only needed to sharpen it once. And I've had this knife for, I don't know, maybe a little over a year, and I've only had to sharpen it once. And I've had this knife for a while, and I haven't had to sharpen it yet, but I do need to sharpen it now. So there's definitely something about like the type of steel and stuff, and buying higher quality steels, and you'll get longer edge retention. An S30, it's not the best with edge retention, but it's good. It's decent, especially if the heat treat's done right. And let's see, get the sheath. All right. And this was my dad's hunting knife. It's a Sharp brand. S30 is definitely a well-rounded steel. I like it. Yeah, I like it. I like S35 if it's done right. I like my Cold Steel S35. But the Wii isn't as good in my opinion, but I've got my Wii with me. So this one, when I get around here, makes a really high-pitched sound. But the rest sounds just fine. But if I cut through monofilament fishing line, it'll flatten out the edge. And this is the only knife that I have that'll flatten out the edge. But it's not doing it as much since I sharpened it a couple times. So I think it just got overheated when they were doing the original apexing of it, would be my opinion. All right. This is a long tea time. Show you my rocks. And peace and long life, my friends. Everyone who came in, I appreciate it very much. Please don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe if you're not subscribed. I love Bloodstone too, man. Bloodstone's my favorite. And you'll have an awesome evening.